Guys, what's going on? This is Jason with JWClassicVW, and welcome back to the garage. Welcome back to the show. And this week we are working on the fuel regulator for my turbo EFI system, and we got a few different updates. As you saw in the intro, we have some things going on when it comes to the torque plates that my buddy made for my new pistons and cylinders. Yeah, so we're going to torque those down before we go ahead and home them to kind of help out with everything being more true. We're going to talk about that in probably the next video, but today we're working on the Aeromotive fuel regulator, the one that I have in my turbo build. Let me show you kind of like what's going on with that. Turning around real quick. So yeah, guys, last time in the video I talked to you about how I wanted to relocate the fuel pressure sensor over to this side so that it's in a better place for, you know, future maintenance if I have to work on it. Plus, I was not loving the location down here, right here. So what I'm gonna have to do, and we're probably not gonna do in this video, is extend the plug right here, this plug, over to this side, so it'll come up to the fuel pressure regulator. But to get that all set up and ready to rock and roll, we have to get the new pressure sensor installed into the fuel pressure regulator itself. We got a little tap in and die action going on here in just a second. So like I told you, we got a lot of work to do on the fuel pressure regulator. But before we carry on with that, guys, don't forget to say hi to Goose, for one, my 1956 01 Ragtop, and press the like button and subscribe button off the side. We are on our way to 10K, and we are not too far away. But let's move over to the bench now and talk about this fuel pressure regulator. All right, guys, here it is, the Aeromotive fuel pressure regulator. And almost all EFI systems have to have pressure regulated on the return side of the system. You have your fuel pressure regulator. This one has 6 AN connections to kind of make things nice and neat. It also has a vacuum reference that when vacuum is changed in the system, the fuel pressure goes up, and that's pretty cool. But you have to have it regulated to, I think it's 43.5 psi at idle. That pressure goes up as fuel requires more demand, and one of the key components to that for your computer, I have a Haltech Elite 1500, for your computer is to know what is the pressure at. So I got a new sensor here that I picked up off of Amazon, and we're going to go ahead and tap the blank on the side here. Tap the blank on the side here to accept this 1/8 NPT adapter that I have. So we're going to get set up in the vise over here and get to work on tapping this bad boy. Yeah. Way inside of here. I need my other light over here. Yeah, see? It's tapered down to a point, so we'll just use that. I'll run my little tiny drill bit from the inside. We'll put a little bit of my tapping fluid on there to help out, and yeah, we'll go ahead and run a drill bit through there so we have a nice center hole to start with. Have these little jaw things here to keep from causing any unneeded or unnecessary damage to certain types of metals when you put them in the vise. And with aluminum, it's pretty soft, so whoopsie, you definitely want to watch out with how much pressure you apply. You don't need a lot. There we go. Zoom me in. Get a 7/64 drill bit. Cool. Oh yeah, very good, right in the center, nice. All right, now that we got the guide hole or pilot hole drilled, we're probably good to go when it comes to tapping this bad boy, but let's go ahead and drill out the size that we need. Hold that in there pretty good. The tap that I picked up, this 1/8 NPT tap, came with the correct size drill bit needed to do the tapping. It's kind of nice when you find a tap that comes with the correct size drill bit already. I'm going to take this nice and easy, put a little bit of this tapping fluid on here, and run it in, and we'll be good to go to tap it, guys. What's nice about aluminum too is it taps super easy. A little bit of fluid. Taking the cap off is helpful. Alright, here we go. Oops. Almost there. Let's go ahead and take her out, take a look. Looks pretty good. Just gotta clean it out a little bit, and then we're ready to rock and roll with the tap. We don't need to go all the way through this. That should be enough for our fitting. So this tap is the type of tap too, where we can take it up in there nice and tight because it's got a flat end on it. So put a little tapping fluid on here and run it through a few times and see what we got. I think we got enough threads there. Should be enough threads to seal it up pretty good. What do you guys think? Should be good? I think so. Yeah. We don't need a lot. The sensor, well, the 45 I'm putting on there is not super deep. Let's see what it feels like. Put this thing on here. Feels pretty good. Yeah. Not too bad, not too bad. I think I might run the tap a little bit more, but maybe go the rest of the way a little bit by hand. Bring you guys back in a second once I got that done. Alright, we are all done with cleaning this out, getting some threads in there. Let's go ahead and run some brake clean through here to get all the debris out. And the oil. But we gotta seal it up. Gotta seal it up, guys. Yeah, what's that look like in there? We might want to run a rag in there a little bit. Let's see. Get a little end of this in there. Clean those threads off. Nice. Cool. Now you guys can use whatever type of PTFE or fuel oil type of sealant you wish to use. I've been through all of them, and I always stick with the red Loctite, man, because the red Loctite, it don't leak. It does not leak. So this is an O-ring type fitting or O-ring type block off. We're gonna go ahead and stick that bad boy back inside of here, and that'll seal itself. Cool. I'll put a little bit of oversizer on this real quick. 1 second. 19 millimeters. A little bit of snug on there. Good to go. Alright, now we gotta run this around until we get it to where we want it to be. Let's go over to the car real quick, or to Goose, and see what we think is gonna look best or work best for this gauge. Alright, so here's our gauge location. Just sits right here, our regulator location. And the way I'm kind of feeling that we'll end up doing this sensor is probably something like this, to where it sticks out and comes this way. So like, let me see if I can get that on here right. I'm gonna crank that around to put a little something on it. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to get a tool on there. But this is gonna be facing this way. Let me just see if that's gonna work. Yeah, I think that should work. The sensor isn't huge. I might even be able to get it to kind of point down a little bit. Point down a little bit, like right here, so I can just plug it in. Plug it in right there. What do you guys think? We'll get it all kind of set up and put it back in here and test fit it. But we got to test fit it a few times before we know we're good to go. Be back in a second, guys. Alright, guys. Got the gauge kind of sitting in here, temped up. While the new gauge is installed, I got the pressure sensor in here the way that I think it needs to be. Let's go ahead and do a little test fitting. See what we got going on here. This is about where it would be. And you can't see it too good. Let me take you off the tripod. But up in here is where it's going to be. Now what I'll end up probably doing is, because that sensor is in a wonderful spot, I don't know if it's any better than the other one, but it is out of the way up there. Is probably putting some sort of pigtail on so I can easily connect and disconnect down here if I need to. But we'll play with it and see. I might end up just installing it, putting the pigtail on, connecting the sensor, and then running it down in here and having it in place before I put the screws in the bottom of the regulator, because yeah, once the screws are in the bottom of the regulator and the lines are all tightened up, we are pretty much good to go. But I do like the gauge or the sensor being up over here. Cool. One more little project kind of halfway done. We still have to do the wiring for it, but that's done for today. So as far as the regulator, that's about all I've probably got planned on for this weekend. I have so much other stuff going on, guys, and yeah. In the next video, we're going to talk about Cerakoting, and let me show you what's going on with the Cerakoting that's been done. I went ahead and relapped the valves as well, so let's show me that real quick. Get some stuff off of here, out of the way. So I went ahead and relapped the valves. You can kind of see a little bit of the lube I put on here, the break-in lube I put on the valves on the backside where I've installed them. And I CC'd these cylinders as well. I got 65 cc's in each one of these chambers, and that goes into figuring out my compression ratio, which I'm going to go ahead and run through again anyway because I have new pistons. And I'm pretty sure that the pin location is identical to my old ones, but I'm not positive. But they're back from Cerakoting. This stuff is on here. It's good stuff when it comes to helping heat dissipate and keep debris kind of from collecting into places where you don't want it to collect. I had some dummy spark plugs put in here, so I'll pull these out, put the iridium spark plugs back in, and we'll be good to rock and roll on that. And here we go, guys. You saw this in the beginning, the torque plates. And why am I putting torque plates with the pistons? Let me bring it over to the bench and show you what's going on with this. So I had my buddy Daryl make up these torque plates because I had some friends of mine reach out and say you might want to go ahead and torque those pistons down in some torque plates the next time you hone them. The last time I honed them, or honed the old pistons and cylinders, I used a ball hone, that hone right there. That one's not such a great idea. A little better to roll with this kind of hone, the same kind of hone that I used on the pistons when I honed them in the 40 horsepower build that's hiding underneath all this jazz over here. So now that I have these torque plates, I'll torque them down to spec, simulating actually being inside the head and the pressures and any kind of like change in shape of the cylinder itself. And that's why you torque these things down, guys, or torque them down in some torque plates, is that there might be a little variance in the size of the cylinder in there, and something that you would never be able to pick up by looking at it. But you run a gauge in there, a bore gauge, you might be able to find out. Torque this down, and then we run this hone inside of here, the stone hone. The stone hone's a lot better because it will show you any kind of problems when it comes to low spots, but these are brand new cylinders, so I don't really see that being something that I'm going to run into, any kind of issues like that. But yeah, we're going to run the hones through these brand new cylinders before we gap the total seal rings, those total seal rings over there. And then we should be good to go. Now, am I going to see a huge difference? A huge difference in the cylinders wall size whenever I torque these bad boys down? Probably not a huge difference. Probably not. But a little bit of peace of mind. Torque these down, re-gap the rings, start putting it back together, the monster turbo build, get Envy back in Goose, and try to enjoy what we got left of the spring because it's about gone. Like I told you guys before, we have a lot of stuff coming up, and let's talk about that. So yeah, we're gonna get everything back together again, get everything back in Goose, get the turbo monster set up for the dyno. We're gonna take her to the dyno and figure out what kind of horsepower we're really making with this bad boy. It needs to be tuned as well because I think that was the main problem on the previous or the first build on those rings, my total seal rings that I had in my original pistons, was I think they were getting too much fuel on our boost. So we got to go get it checked out. Got to go get the tune corrected. But as for today, guys, that's gonna be it. Did a little bit of work on the car. Oh yeah, I got the new throttle bearing installed. You guys probably saw that on social media, Facebook group, Instagram. I kind of post things up on there, guys, when I'm not posting videos as regular. So make sure you subscribe or follow me on Facebook or join the Facebook group. Good places to get help and information if you need it. But that's it for today. Hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying your week. This is going to come out Monday morning, so see you guys soon. This is Jason with JWClassicVW, and I'll talk to you guys on the next video. Get out in the garage, do some work, spend some time on your project. A little bit each day, guys. A little bit each day or a little bit each weekend adds up to a lot. So see you next time, guys. This is Jason. Bye-bye.